This is the part they really don't want you hearing. Everybody talking wake up like it's a vibe. Nah. Wake up is war.
People want to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you how to find it.
At the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was good because it was always attuned to the highest frequencies. Peace, love, light, gonna rise to the gods and the goddesses. Today's word of the day is attunement.
Green Rising family, welcome back to another episode of Lady Boss Energy, where we uplift, motivate, and inspire each other to get shit together. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you know somebody who you think needs to see this or you think would enjoy watching this, share it with them. These videos are for entertainment purposes. I am not responsible for what you do or don't believe. This is your journey. Take what you believe and leave what you don't. Affirmation time. Our first affirmation. I nourish my body with love and respect. Choose one act of physical self-care, like a healthy meal or exercise, and commit to it today. The next affirmation is, Divine's most precious work of art is the warmth and love of a woman's heart. And mine that I write for myself says, I trust my inner wisdom. Ooh, I definitely do. That is why I'm taking a digital detox. I said I was going to get this video uploaded today, which is Sunday, but I'm not going to. I'm going to edit it and upload it today. I'm going to have it uploaded for Wednesday's video. I was going to do a seven detox, but I'm going to do 5. So that way, the last 2 of our 7, I can get videos together, do my recording, and then get back on it on Monday. But regardless, whether you take a 24-hour detox, a 48-hour detox, a 3 detox, a 5 detox, 7, whatever you need for yourself, that's what matters. Let's just do what's best for you. And this is what I need to do for myself. So ain't nothing to do but to do it. Let's get straight into it.
When you are on fire, and you have this fire inside of you, a passion that burns bright, baby, this fire inside, it's so grand. It's like white light, and it's limitless. It reaches the sky, baby. Your fire, it is felt. It is hot. It is bold. It does not say sorry or apologize, baby. You got the fire of Christ inside. And there'll be those who come to put a lid on that fire inside of you, on that passion, on that boldness, on that authenticity, on that truth, because it exposes the lies, it exposes the deception, the inauthenticity, the distortion, baby. It exposes, and it's too bright, it's too hot, and they're getting burned by it.
Love it.
Do not allow them to place a lid on your passion, on the fire inside of you. Allow it to burn bright, baby. Be bold, because that fire inside, that fire inside you cannot be contained. It cannot be contained. No matter how many lids they try to make, no matter how many boxes they try to place you in. Keep burning bright, baby. Your light, it is eternal. That fire inside, it ignites. You are a flame that burns bright. Keep shining your light.
I love her. I want to be her friend.
Okay, y'all want to talk about Adam and you want to talk about Adam and
Mamas.
Eve. Okay, listen, I'm going to tell y'all the story of Adam and Eve, okay? The creation story of on the first day, on the second day, on the is different than Adam and Eve's creation. They 2 separate creations, and I'm going to tag a creator below that can go into the whole thing of how Adam and Eve is not the first people on earth. But y'all don't even read y'all's Bible, so y'all be ready to correct somebody. God didn't even tell Adam and Eve to be fruitful and multiply. He said that to the first people that he made. Anyway, okay. So God got him in the garden, watching the garden or whatever. God's like, I'm about to make a tree of life and a tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And I'm about to put Adam in charge of the garden, and I'm going to put the tree smack in the middle of the garden. And I'm going to put the best and most juiciest and wonderful fruits all over that tree. and I'm going to put it right in the middle of the garden. And I'm going to have Adam watch the garden. Then I'm going to say, Adam, don't you eat that tree or you going to die. You eat that fruit off of that tree and you're dead. You're dead in meat. I don't know why he said that, because that didn't happen. But y'all saying there's no contradictions to the Bible. He did not. And people are saying, no, it means you dead to me. No, he still messed with them pretty heavily after that. Anyway, then God had made him a woman to go with him. God took Adam's rib from the side, made him a woman. The woman is in the garden chilling by the tree with the best fruit on it that God don't want them to eat. And here come a snake. The snake talks, okay? And I know y'all saying, what happened to the talking animals of today? The Bible will tell you when an animal can talk and when it can't. So the snake tells the girl, go ahead and eat the fruit. You're not going to. I don't know who told y'all that. Did you hear God say it? And she going to say, my man said that God said, don't eat the fruit off that tree because you will die. She was like, he pretty much said it before I got here. The serpent was like, that is not, if you eat that fruit, you is not going to. And guess who was telling the truth? So he was like, the only reason why he don't want you to eat the tree is because he know if you eat it, then you gonna know what's up with him. And he don't want that, because he blame everything on me, even though he the one doing all the killing right here. And Eve was like, say word, he don't want us to be like him. But I thought he made us like him. He don't want us to be like him. Why he don't want us to know nothing? And so she went on and bit it. So she bit it. She bit. Then here come Adam, like, what you doing? What you doing over here talking to him? And she was like, I didn't even know snakes could talk. And they was like, only for this story. Okay. And so she told Adam how delicious it was, and then he ate some. Next thing you knew, they was like, we naked. So they heard God walking around, and they was hiding. God was like, where y'all at? And they was like, over here, hiding. And he said, how y'all know y'all naked? They was like, you don't know how we know we naked? And then he said, oh, y'all got knowledge now. Where you get the knowledge? So then since they had knowledge, he told Adam he was going to have to work on the farm, and it was going to be hard work. And he told Eve she was going to have to give birth, and that was going to be hard work. And he told the snake he can't talk no more because his tail is everything. And kicked him out the garden, put 2 flaming swords in front of the garden, and they can't never get back in that mug. Adam and Eve.
Real fast, just so you know, I did go down a rabbit hole on her page, and she used to be a pastor, like a preacher or pastor or whatever. So she knows what she's talking about. But I have a few of her videos in here just because like the way she tells it is funny and entertaining. And so I wanted to share that with you.
Y'all gonna get me in trouble because y'all keep asking follow-up questions. But the short answer is yes. God loves you so much that he will burn you up for not loving him back. And it's pretty simple, actually, because he created you as a sinner because he loves you and he hates sin. Okay? So he decided what was a sin and then put it inside you. And then you got to get it out, right? So he said, I'll send my son and kill him because the sin I put in you, I hate it. And I'll burn you up for it. And so he sent his son and then killed him so he could get rid of the sin that he put in you because he hates it. But listen, because he loves you. And so he knew, though, when he killed his son, that his son wasn't really dead. He was going to come back again. And when he came back, he was only going to be dead for 3 days. And from Friday night to early Sunday morning is 3 days, no matter what you can count. And so he knew that when he killed his son, he was only going to be dead for the 3 days and he was going to come right back. So he was like, listen, son, you only got to die for a little while, but you can go to hell and get the keys to the pearly gates because they're locked. Because security, the devil had already been in heaven Okay, and he got kicked out, so they had to put the gates up and lock it. And that's where the keys was at. The devil had the keys to the gate. And Jesus had to go down there and get him. And he got him and brought him back, and he's in heaven with him. And he's going to come back for us when he gets done building our mansions, because he's the great carpenter. And that's why he had to come to earth to learn how to do carpentry work so he can build our mansions and we can go and be with him. And it's honestly really pretty simple. But yes, he loves you so much that he put sin in your heart that he hates so that you could burn if you don't love him back.
Now, do you remember when The Secret was popular and you got introduced to the law of attraction? See, the law of attraction is a universal or spiritual law, but there are actually 12 spiritual laws. Law of divine oneness, law of vibration, law of correspondence, law of inspired action, law of perpetual transmutation of energy, law of cause and effect, law of compensation or reciprocity, law of relativity, law of polarity, law of rhythm, and the law of gender. Now, these spiritual laws, whether we're aware of them or not, they shape our physical reality. And the goal is and should be to create a society that represents and reinforces the spiritual laws to create a balanced and harmonious existence or human experience. So why have most of us only ever heard of the law of attraction? Well, it's because the law of attraction, as it's been defined to us, supports the American ideals and the cultural values, while the other laws don't. See, values like materialism, individualism, and personal accomplishments. This isn't an opinion or assumption. It's a deduction. See, we know that a large part of American culture and economy, for that matter, revolves around consumerism, material wealth, and personal success or ambition. Now, the law of attraction, as it's been presented to us, tells us that you can have anything you want through manifestation, visualization, or aligning with whatever it is you desire. Now, those ideas align with the American value system, but spiritual laws like the law of divine oneness, which tells us that we are all connected and all of our actions affect the collective, well, that goes directly against the American ideal of individualism. Or the law of cause and effect, it weakens the argument that everyone has the same ability to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. Or the law of gender, which solidifies the distinction and dichotomy of masculine and feminine energy. And when it's understood properly, it would put an end to the gender wars that have been used to create division amongst all of us. So at the end of the day, understanding these spiritual laws or universal laws will change how we look at the world. Now remember, in order to escape the matrix, you have to understand the matrix. And make sure you follow and share for more keys to our liberation. And while you're at it, make sure you sign up for the Escape the Matrix newsletter, where we talk about solution-oriented initiatives. Now make sure you click the link in the bio.
One thing that you need to realize when you start trying to shift your reality is that your thoughts and your feelings are not you. You are not your body and you are not your thoughts. You don't go introducing yourself to people by your body or your thoughts. Your thoughts and your body are guided by the past programming. They're guided by the environment that you are in. And if you let the environment that you are in dictate who you are, then you are Joe Bob that just made you angry. You are reacting to your environment instead of controlling it. You are not seeing everything for what it is. You are getting pulled in 10 different directions. So you have to realize that every thought, every feeling you have is literally a hormone in your body. And I know this because if I go work out, I feel really good. But there was nothing that was different from me an hour before, when I started feeling really crappy about myself, to an hour later after I worked out. There's no difference. But you feel good because when you work out, your dopamine receptors are more sensitive. Whenever you do something that makes you feel good, you get the dopamine, the oxytocin, the serotonin. Do you go around introducing yourself? Hello, I'm the dopamine, I'm oxytocin, I'm serotonin. No. We are reacting to our environment physically, and we have to realize that our consciousness and who we are and our soul is not dictated by it. Because when you master yourself, when you can rise above it, that's when you really can start making changes, because you are in control of yourself. And you can start seeing, oh, that's just my environment. I'm not really this way. I'm not really that way. I don't believe my thoughts. They're just the byproduct of my body and my past programming. People get addicted and people do things because they are being hijacked by their brain and their body. I've done the studies, and when people have childhood trauma or they have a lot of anxiety, they react because their nervous system and their brain are hijacking them. And then they go do crime and they go do drugs because they are not in control. They believe all these things about themselves, and their nervous system is conditioned to have adrenaline, conditioned to have the cortisol. It's like an addiction. And whenever you stop going after things that give you the cortisol and give you the adrenaline, there's a lull there where you start to feel depression. And a lot of people have this. They get depressed, and then they feel alive if they go out and fight somebody. Because that adrenaline kicks in, that cortisol kicks in, and that's what they're used to. They have no idea what the other side feels like. So you are not your body. You are not even your mistakes of your past. If you understand that you are being hijacked, then you can take measures to control it, because you have a space where you can. And if you understand that you have had a life that is so dysregulating to your system that your body is used to cortisol and adrenaline, then you can take steps to be more calm. And when you start withdrawing, because it's a withdrawal system, when you start withdrawing from cortisol and adrenaline, when you're constantly dysregulated, it feels boring. It doesn't feel alive, because what you're used to is constantly tearing through your body, and it makes you jittery and it makes you feel awake. And when you don't have it, you feel dead. You kind of feel depressed and low. That's why people keep fighting. That's why they keep doing the things that they do. So what you need to do is give yourself time and understand that you are not your body. You are not your hormones. You are not the way you feel even. And your body will regulate. The more that you breathe, and the more that you control yourself, and the more that you self-talk and you self-love, and you do the things that you want to do, removing yourself from the environment that you're in, the more that your nervous system will regulate, the more that your body will regulate, and the more you'll feel better about yourself, because you are in control. And that's how you shift your reality. You are not your body. You are the one that is in control of it. You are the awareness of it. And if you want to change your life, and if you want to switch your reality, you have to learn that. And you have to stop. And you have to not associate with your feelings. You have to know what is happening inside you and change it.
3 meals a day was created by the Rockefeller Foundation. Our ancestors didn't eat 3 times a day. If they ate 3 times a week, that was a lot. Your body is meant to be in a fasted state. Why do you heal when you sleep? Because you're fasted. Your body's able to take the energy that it normally would take if it was breaking down and assimilating food. Instead, it's putting it towards healing and rejuvenating the body. Feeling sick? Don't go to the white coat who has no idea what he's talking about. Throw a 36-hour fast at it. Stem cells are activated. They go to the area of injury. They go to the areas that need healing. Your body thrives in a fasted state. If you're a woman, you fast differently than a man does. Don't buy into the 3 meals a day. It was created to keep you fat, lazy, and relying on the Rockefeller food system. Never should obesity be...
People want to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you how to find it. I want you to understand first and foremost that your inner dialogue is not you. That's not you. Your inner dialogue is a result of language. It is a parasite. Without language, there would have never developed an inner dialogue. It is not a natural thing. Babies do not have inner dialogues. You develop it through language. It is a result of language. It is not who you are. It is not you. Anything language tries to explain either exists in past tense or future tense, not in the current moment. As soon as you utter a phrase, it's already past tense. So, in the moment, with the understanding that language is not who you are, nor is the inner dialogue in your head who you are, I would like you to close your eyes, and I would like you to ask yourself, who am I? And the second language tries to intervene, just understand that it is lying to you. It can't be the truth. You're the awareness of this reality. Whatever that means is up to you. But that's the truth. And anybody who tries to sell you some old hogwash bullshit out of a book, just know that that would be a result of this kind of environment. Your consciousness is creating the entirety of your reality around you, in tune with the deepest part of you that you're not even familiar with because you're too busy looking outside of yourself. Look within you. The answer is there. It's simple. It escapes logic and words. The only way to find it is in. Close your eyes. Ask yourself, who am I? The truest answer isn't an answer at all, because you can't answer it. It's a paradox. I am that I am means you are whatever you decide to be, and nothing else. That's the truth. That's where you find it. Go in there and dig around for a while.
Welcome back to my series, The Bible Doesn't Make Any Sense. Today's episode, Genesis chapter 1 through chapter 3. This is the story of Adam and Eve. This comment comes from my original Adam and Eve video, so click this if you want to see that video. But when I made that video, I didn't know what I know now, because I always wondered about the other people on Earth aside from Adam and Eve. Grab a snack, settle in, you're going to like this episode. So everyone knows that God created humans on the 6th day of creation. But what I didn't know is that that did not include Adam and Eve. That's right. When God was creating humans on the 6th day of creation, when he created the rest of the earth, that was not Adam and Eve. Matter of fact, Adam and Eve are not mentioned at all in Genesis chapter 1 when God created the earth and everything on it. They don't pop up until chapter 2. So how were they the first two humans and populated the rest of the earth? They weren't, and they didn't. Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. Someone's going to try to argue, well, he wasn't talking about humans, he was talking about animals. Incorrect. Fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky and over every living creature that moves on the ground. Also, God created mankind, which biblically means men or man or the human race. So I was like, okay, so Adam and Eve weren't the first ones on earth. Who were these other people? What's their story? Were they sinners from birth? Were they running around naked on earth? Then I got to chapter 2 and everything changed. Chapter 2 is written as if chapter 1 does not exist. Or at the very least, chapter 2 is written as if it comes before chapter 1. In Genesis 2, verse 5, it says, Now no shrub had appeared yet on the earth, and no plant had yet sprung up, and there was no one to work the ground. There were no plants, and no one was on the earth to work the ground. So this was before the 3rd day, when God created all of the plants and everything else, when he created the rest of the earth in Genesis chapter 1. If these events with Adam and Eve happened before the events of the earth being created, then what earth are they talking about? Where are they at? You see how there's contradictions in the first 2 chapters of the first book of the Bible? But let's keep going because it gets worse. Back to Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. Then the Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. Which is very different from when he created mankind in his own image in Genesis chapter 1. Were there 2 different creations of mankind? And if that's the case, what was so special about Adam and Eve? Why did they get the Garden of Eden and the other human beings just are on the earth? And you can't say, well, God put them on earth because they were sinners, because it literally says when he made them, God saw all that he had made and it was very good. And that was on the 6th day when he created man in his own image. But don't worry, I'm not stopping there. When God told Adam about the tree of knowledge, he told him that if he ate the fruit, he would surely die, which was a flat out lie because that's not what happened. So God is a liar. Interesting. But do you know who didn't lie? The serpent. Genesis 3, chapter 4, the serpent says, "You will not certainly die, for God knows that when you eat it, your eyes will be opened and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." Which is exactly what happened, and God himself confirms it. Genesis 3, chapter 22, and the Lord God said, "The man has now become like one of us, knowing good and evil." Now tell me, who sounds like the villain in this story? The Bible also proves that there were other people on earth before Adam and Eve. In Genesis chapter 4, after Cain killed his brother and the Lord found out about it, he said, "I will be a restless wanderer on the earth. Whoever finds me will kill me." And the Lord said, "Not so. Anyone who kills Cain will suffer vengeance 7 times over." Then the Lord put a mark on Cain so that no one who found him would kill him. God himself confirming that there were other people on earth, and yet they're not important enough to put in the book. Did they have names? Who were they? When he's speaking to Cain, he's speaking as if he has authority over all of them. And so I'm assuming all of them are his creation and they all praise him, right? Again, do they sin? Do they know what sin is? I have so many more questions. Nothing about this makes any sense. And they just thought that we would just listen to them and not actually read the Bible ourselves, which is what most Christians do. To keep it a buck, I read the Bible so much more now as an atheist than I ever did as a Christian.
Okay, so y'all want to know why God didn't just kill the devil, and why he's letting the devil terrorize the world and stuff like how he does. Because there's going to be a showdown on Judgment Day, and if God went on and got rid of the devil, who is Jesus going to show down with? Okay, Jesus comes from heaven. He has a sword. He comes down out the sky. Some of y'all heard about this on Rapture Talk, which is good information about what's going to happen during the rapture. Jesus comes down and there's a showdown between him and the devil. He uses his sword of fire and all that, and he smites the devil. So if God went on and killed the devil and made the devil stop torturing everybody on earth and stopped all the evil in the world, there really wouldn't be a need for the grand showdown. And then what is Jesus going to do with his sword of fire? You know what I'm saying? I see why y'all would think that it would make sense. Like if God could just destroy the devil, why wouldn't he just destroy the devil instead of killing his own son?
Right.
The showdown is the short answer. And y'all keep being like, why didn't God step in and stop slavery? Why is he letting all the evil and stuff prevail in the world? And why doesn't he stop the natural disasters and stop kids from being abused and all that stuff? He already gave the devil dominion over the earth. So he got to let the earth get so bad to show the devil, see, you wasn't all that to leave heaven. See, because the devil was in heaven and everything was cool. And the devil left heaven and he gave him dominion over the earth. Well, why would God give the devil dominion over the earth? To show the devil that he wasn't God and that he shouldn't have never left heaven in the beginning. Okay? So he let the earth get crazy. He let slavery happen. He lets kids get abused. He lets all of this stuff happen to show the devil how he's really mucking up the earth, okay? He's letting sin run amok, because then Jesus gonna come back with the sword and take over, get dominion back over the earth, take all the people to heaven, and then show them who's boss. So that's why he didn't kill the devil, because the showdown, obviously.
Obviously.
Somebody asked me to teach what I have found in my research about reality. Step 1 is looking at yourself in the mirror and asking yourself to show you reality. Show you what is real. We make reality through us. We make reality through all of our parts. So when you ask yourself to show yourself reality, expect it. If nothing happens right away, continue the mirror work. That's step 1. Step 2, assign yourself something that you recognize. Whether it's birds, numbers, butterflies, just something to show you that what reality is. When you have some quiet time, Breathe into your belly, close your eyes, and ask yourself the questions that you want to hear. The first thing that comes up is always the right one, every time. Any image you get, any memory you get, or any thought, that is you answering yourself. If you start to second guess yourself or vacillate, that is introducing doubt, meaning you're going to have several different things come up. So you have to go with the first one. You are assigning yourself that the first thing that you think of, see, hear, or feel is the right answer. You are assigning it. So, ask yourself, trust what you get, do not vacillate. Continue to do it over and over and over again. Do not freak out. It's gonna be okay. But when you start actually seeing how things work, it might freak you out a little bit, and that's okay. And I'm not saying I don't see things as in ghosts or people walking or different dimensions. No. I assign myself things and it appears. If I'm having a particularly rough day, I assign myself, I need a sign, and I have things that I've assigned: birds, woodpeckers, blue jays, ladybugs. They will show up. Assign number patterns to different meanings. 1111 is the master number in numerology. That is that I'm on the right path. Ultimately, it's a big one. Any multiple of a pattern, and if I see something like a blue light, it's showing me I'm on the right path. Write things down so you can come back to it later. And the reason I say this is because you go to sleep every night and DMT washes your brain and you will forget. Also, you will start seeing things, not visions, not anything like that, but you will see things and it'll make you scared. And that also erases things. So write it down. The most recent thing that I've seen, which is quite hilarious, is doppelgangers. Same voice, same face, different color skin. It's the same thing that movies do when they're doing CGI. When you saw Lord of the Rings, it wasn't a bunch of people dressed up like orcs. It was some people dressed up like orcs that they put into the CGI and the computer and made different variations, slight variations. When you have the meta-awareness and you've been doing this for long enough, you'll be able to see. You'll be able to tell who's an NPC and who's actually real. You will see that you create your life from your experiences. For example, my daughter is dating somebody. His first name is the same name as her father. He is going to school for the same thing that I got my master's in. And he loves Chiweenies, and that was her dog that died not too long ago. We recreate things. So, as far as speaking to people do not have your experience. You do not need them to validate you. They have not seen nor felt what you have felt. They are limited. And most of the time when people are coming at you in your comments, your DMs, or in your life, it is your fear that is bringing them in and reflecting back at you, because it's a mirror. So, be careful, stay safe, and most of all, buckle up.
Buckle up, buttercup.
This is the part they really don't want you hearing. Everybody talking wake up like it's a vibe. Nah. Wake up is war. It's you versus the shit they programmed into your mind since you was a kid. You want to break out? Alright, here's the blueprint. Stop giving your energy to dumb shit. All that arguing and gossip and beef shit, that's food for the system. Cut that shit off. Guard your fucking mind like it's your last dollar. What you watch, what you scroll, and who you hang with, that's programming. So pick better programs. Stack knowledge and money. Not flex money, freedom money. Read, learn the money game, invest, even if it's just $5. It's power they can't touch. Trust your spirit over any outside voice. Your intuition been yelling at you your whole fucking life. It's time to start listening. Stop living like you scared. Fear is their favorite weapon. The moment you stop flinching, you become dangerous. Listen, once you take your mind back, your soul follows. Your pockets follow. Your whole reality follows. They ain't scared of your body. They scared of your mind waking up enough to walk out their fucking cage. So walk out, cause you ain't trapped. You just been sleepwalking. So wake the fuck up.
It's time, family. It's time.
The life you want starts with controlling the thoughts you repeat. You may not notice it, but your mind copies whatever you think the most. Repeat worry, you move like someone who expects problems. Repeat doubt, you act like someone who's not ready. But repeat thoughts of strength, clarity, and possibility, and your whole energy changes. You start making choices the future you would make. You see opportunities the old you would have missed. So choose better thoughts on purpose. Repeat the ones that match the life you want, not the life you're trying to grow out of. Because once your thoughts shift, your life has no choice but to follow.
Y'all so messy, and that's why y'all keep wanting me to tell y'all about Noah and the ark. And I'm gonna tell y'all, but it's y'all the ones being messy out here. So in the Bible times, God was getting really pissed off at people. Mind you, we still in Genesis, okay? Nothing has even really happened yet. Because let me tell you what happened. The angels, the sons of God, they were seeing the women's on the earth and was wanting them because they had a bunch of lust in their heart. How did it get in there? I don't know. They had a bunch of lust in their heart for the ladies of the earth. People was out here, the sons of God was coming down here, getting girls pregnant and making giant babies that was living forever, okay? And creating Nephilims. There's more scriptures about that, but they took that part out of the Bible because they didn't want us to read it. So God was pissed, and he said, people is wicked, people is evil, people is corrupt, and he regretted making them. He made a mistake in making them. Even though he don't make mistakes, he wish he didn't make the people. So he was like, I'm getting rid of everybody. The only person I like is Noah and his folks. And I don't like nobody else, and I'm getting rid of everybody else. Even the plants and animals, like everybody gotta go. So then Noah was like, okay, if you keep me and my folks, we need some animals and stuff too. So he was like, you could bring 2 of all the animals too, and then like 7 pairs of all the birds. So you can bring 2 elephants, 2 kitty cats, 2 duck-bill platypuses, and 2 roaches, and put them all on the boat. So he put everybody in there. It rained 40 days, 40 nights. They had never heard of rain. Didn't nobody even know what rain was. God told me it was going to rain. They was like, okay, God saying it's going to rain. I don't know what that is, but it had rained 40 days, 40 nights. The whole earth was flooded. And so everybody died. All the animals, all the plants, everybody else died except for who was in the boat, okay? So Noah, his 3 sons, they wives, his wife, the animals, duck-billed platypuses, 2 roaches. So then God's like, that's enough, time for the water to go. So all the water went away. He sent out a bird 2 times. When the bird came back with a plant, he was like, all right, the water gone. Noah was like, that's cool. He had to make a sacrifice to God, because anytime something good or bad happens, you got to kill something and make a blood sacrifice to God, because God is very bloodthirsty, and you got to kill something, and something got to die for God every single time. If it's an animal, if it's a person, just something got to be killed, because God is like that. I don't know why. So I don't know what killing. He had just brought these animals, and then as soon as they got off the boat, killed them. Made a sacrifice to God. God was like, that smell good. I like it. I like when you kill stuff for me. So then he was like, all right, y'all cool. I'm not going to kill the people no more. Then he said, you know what? I'm going to put a rainbow in the sky to remind myself every time when I get sick of y'all and I want you all dead, to not kill everybody. Just with, well, at least with water. I might still kill everybody, but it's not going to be with water next time. So you're welcome. So then Noah's like, all right, bet this is too much. And then he gets plastered drunk, okay? So he's in a tent, passed out drunk, naked, just laid out. toe up. And this is God's best man. So one of the sons come in there and see him, and instead of covering him up, he go and tell his brothers his daddy's in there passed out drunk naked. So the daddy cursed him to be a slave for the rest of eternity, and that's why you blacks will never measure up.
The other day I was standing in the kitchen with my oldest daughter, and she made a comment, "Mom, this time next year, I'll be married." And I immediately responded with something that I desire for the future. And the Holy Spirit said, "Look around the room, Rachel." I looked up and I saw all 5 of my children, boys fighting on the couch, my baby girl sitting there in her coloring book, standing next to my daughter as we cook breakfast, my other daughter doing TikToks in the other room. And I just stopped and I said, "What am I doing?" Yeshua told us to live in the moment for a reason. This new energy that's coming in, it's like clarity for what we're meant to be doing. It's taking these ordinary moments and making them extraordinary. When you live in constant reflection of yesterday, it creates depression, regret, heartache, guilt, and shame. And then when you live in tomorrow, a day you're not promised, you look at what you don't have today and you live in lack with the constant looking of what I might have down the road. Live in the moment of what you're given today. Everything you need is right in front of you. And you might say, "Oh, I hate my job." Without that job, you might be homeless. "Oh, well, I'm lonely and I have no one." Sit in gratitude that you can sit in stillness and spend time with your Father. Everything happens for a reason. Everything that we look at as lack is making room for the new, walking in a season of divine alignment. You are not losing the old. You're making room for your soul to become. Everything is about your mindset. When you live in the moment, you are no longer looking at the future and creating that state of lack. Everything I need is right here and right now. That is divine alignment. Every time I go back to that lacking, back to that, I need this, I need that, I take a deep breath and I hold that breath and I release that thought to bring me back right here, right now, where I'm meant to be. We're all standing at a doorway and we're searching for that key. But the truth is, the key's not even in your pocket. The key is you. It is remembering who you are. And today, I'm remembering that this very moment is everything that I need. Y'all have a beautiful day.
Thank you. I needed to hear that. Maybe you did too.
Not everything done for your own good is actually good. A lot of people don't want to protect others. They want to control the outcome so they don't have to feel uncomfortable. Control says, don't do that, don't be that, don't say that. Protection says, I trust you. If you fall, I'm here. When control is disguised as love, it creates fear. When protection is rooted in trust, it creates strength. One shrinks people and the other one grows them. From a spiritual perspective, growth requires risk. Nothing alive evolves without movement. So when someone says, I'm just trying to keep you safe, what they're really saying is, don't challenge my comfort. That's not protection. That's fear managing fear. Strong people aren't created by being controlled. They're created by being trusted, guided, and able to learn. So just remember, love does not cage. It steadies. Peace and love to y'all.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was good because it was always attuned to the highest frequencies. Peace, love, light, gonna rise to the gods and the goddesses. Today's word of the day is attunement. Attunement is the act or state of being brought into harmony, making someone aware or responsive. So just like an instrument, your life only sounds right when calibrated to the right frequency. When When you're out of attunement, things feel heavy. People drain you. Synchronicities disappear, and resistance shows up everywhere. But when you are attuned, life responds. Opportunities find you. The body feels lighter. Intuition gets louder. So I dove into this word because I'm hearing a lot of talk about the beings beyond the ice wall. So these intelligent beings vibrate at frequencies that we can barely fathom. So if we were to encounter them as we are, we would feel disoriented or out of sync. This is why attunement is so vital. By raising our vibration and aligning our consciousness, we not only become more in harmony with these advanced energies, we also prepare ourselves for a profound spiritual connection. They want you to think that the ice has to melt to communicate with these advanced energies. What they won't tell you is we are already communicating with these beings through radio waves. And the ice wall is a representation of the low frequency we are surrounded in. So the one that's attuned know that you can reach this mothership from right here. This is the real Agartha. So as they are always trying to communicate, all you have to do is stay tuned like you do with those TV shows. So the only work we need to do is keep elevating our consciousness. The higher we vibrate, the ice will melt. The higher we vibrate, these endless possibilities and deeper wisdom comes to us. So let's stay attuned and keep elevating. Shit!
Welcome back to my series, The Bible Doesn't Make Any Sense. Today's episode is going to be a little different because today we're not going over what's in the Bible, we're going over what's not in it. Because when I saw your comment, I started thinking, when was Satan in heaven with God? Couldn't be in Genesis when God created the earth and all of everything else. So I started to dig a little deeper. Guess what? This story of Satan wanting to be like God and God kicking him out of heaven is nowhere in the Bible. That's right. Just give it a second to marinate. This story, nowhere in the Bible. It's mentioned in the Bible, symbolically, but the actual story and Satan's reasoning for being kicked out is never, not once recorded. This website here says Satan's fall from heaven was symbolically described in Isaiah 14:12-14 and Ezekiel 28:12-18. While these two passages are referring specifically to the kings of Babylon and Tyre, we believe that they also reference a spiritual power behind those kings, namely Satan, which doesn't make sense for two reasons. One, that's a bold accusation to take these kings and link them directly to Satan, and not like King David or somebody who was out here murking folks on a regular. But if these were a reference to the spiritual power of Satan, then where is Satan's origin story? Wouldn't it make sense that this entire book that is trying to tell you to stay away from this one individual, that this book would tell you in detail exactly what happened to that individual? It also never says in the Bible when this occurred, because in the beginning there was nothing, right? Genesis 1, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. Not one time is Satan mentioned in any of this. If Satan is depicted as a serpent in the beginning of Genesis, then where is his original origin story? I was taught as a Christian that Satan was in heaven with God and he was an angel and then he wanted to be better than God, and so God kicked him out of heaven and sent him to hell. Where is that in the Bible? It's not. Also, does anyone else think that it's a little funny that he says in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, and then he goes into detail about how he created the earth but never says shit about how he created the heavens? Who was there? Where are the angels? Was God by himself? Did he create the angels? I have so many fucking questions. And if he created the angels, that means he technically created Satan, right? So if he created Satan, wouldn't he know exactly what was going to happen? You know, because he's all-knowing and such. When I tell you I found this information out like 20 minutes ago, and now it makes me wonder, how many things were we taught in church that are actually not in the Bible any fucking where? And we just believe that it is because our pastor told us that it was. I never not once went to go and look in the Bible to try to find Satan's origin story or when he got kicked out of heaven. Don't you think that would be important things to document in this Bible? Also, apparently Jesus witnessed Satan's fall, and he mentions it in Luke 10:18. I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. How would Jesus see that if he wasn't born yet? This is when that whole is Jesus God or are they two separate entities argument pops back up. Because if you argue that God wrapped himself in flesh and sent himself to heaven, and that's how he saw that Satan fell from the heavens back whenever it happened, then that means that garden scene where Jesus is asking God to save him from being crucified, it's actually God asking God to save God from the thing that God said that God had to do, which that doesn't make any sense. If Jesus was a physical being, a actual human that was born from Mary, there's no possible way that he could have saw Satan fall from heaven. Was Satan already there when God created the heavens and the earth? And if he was, what the is his purpose? If he went bad and went rogue against God, why is that not documented? I I need answers.
Right. Right.
Okay, so let me clarify about Job. See, Job was upright, honest, loved God and his family and everything. Satan came to God with some of the angels. This is in the Bible. Satan came to God with some of the angels, and God was like, Satan, what you been doing? And he was like, looking for who I could chew up and spit out. And God was like, did you think about Job? See, God suggested Job to the devil because Job was doing such a good job at serving him. God was like, hey, have you thought about Job? Because when you talking about chewing somebody up and spitting them out, my man has a lot of stuff. And Satan is like, yeah, I've thought about him, but you won't let me get him, or I would have done got him. God's like, go ahead then. And Satan's like, I bet you if I get him, I bet you he ain't gonna be on your team no more. And God was like, what you want to bet? It's like that movie Trading Places where they bet the dollar and took Eddie Murphy's life and switched it with. So God is like, I bet you he won't curse me. And Satan's like, I bet he will. And God is like, bet. And so he lets the devil go and kill all Job's kids, take all his cattle, all his land, all his everything, set it on fire. And then Job is still like, God, I know this wasn't you. I know you ain't set me up like this. So I'm going to still serve you. God like who? The devil come back over God's the next day with the angels. Angels are bringing the devil over God's. Look it up. And so God's like, Satan, what you been doing since yesterday? And the devil's like, same thing. Look at who I can chew up and spit the fuck out. And so God is like, my boy Job again. He's still, what I tell you. I told you he wasn't getting ready to turn his back on me. I got this man in the mind. It don't matter what happened to him. He ain't gonna do it. He gonna still believe in me because he's a dummy. And the devil's like, bet you if he's sick, okay, I killed his kids and everything, he might not even like them kids. But what about if I getting in his body? And so God is like, what you gonna do? He like, I'm gonna put sores all over him. I'm gonna make him in pain. He gonna be in chronic pain. His body gonna curl up on him, and God like, I bet. Do it, bruh. Do it, bruh. And I bet you when you come back, he ain't gonna turn his back on me. So Job was like, God couldn't be doing this. Job's friends, his wife, everybody was like, hey, God is doing you dirty, bruh. You don't need to follow him no more because they talking, they conspiring against you. Job is like, bitch, you crazy. And so he wasn't having it. And so he never did curse God. And God's like, you know what? Since I won the bet and you didn't turn your back on me, even though you didn't know it was me suggesting that the devil come and do this to you, double for your trouble. Who wouldn't serve a God like this? Huh? Sound right here, baby girl. Y'all are asking me, how do I know this much? I used to be a preacher. I was a licensed minister for some years. I have since deconstructed from organized religion, and I am a therapist specializing in religious trauma. And when I did the first video, I was thinking about the mansions and stuff. And I just thought about, I'll explain it like Tiffany Haddish would explain something. Because let's talk about what we really believe. Let's talk about what we're really teaching people. And I'm just going to explain it as plain as I possibly can and let people make their own conclusions. I didn't expect it to be a series, but I knew people was going to follow up with questions. And I just started deciding to answer the questions as plainly as possible because I do know the word. I know what it says. I used to teach the word. And that's how I got to deconstruction. I didn't just decide I was going to stop going to church and deconstruct religion. I'm a critical thinker. And I could not continue pretending like I believed what was in that book. And it started with me going back to the origins of the Bible, because this is the main tenet of our faith. The way that the Bible was put together, conversation between God and the devil, for example, who was there to write that down?
Right.
Okay, God inspired them and told them what to write. I don't trust them men. The King James is the King of England. They were talking about African countries that are still sending their money to France, or places still being colonized by England or by European countries. We're still teaching a Bible that we got from the King of England. And black people are quick to say, it started in Africa. This ain't no white man's religion. This is our stuff. We're using the white man's Bible. Before King James got a hold to the Bible, it was 88 books. When he got done slicing it and dicing it and changing it, it was 66 books. He took out 22 of them that didn't suit him. We're not teaching original what came from Africa text. We're teaching what the King of England, King James, we should say King James of England version, because that's what we teach. And if we're going to be honest, I'm just allowing people to connect the dots. It's hard for people to understand how Christian nationalists or MAGA people or evangelicals reach these conclusions, how we got to sister wives, how we got to a lot of the patriarchy and misogyny, even how we got to such a flood of narcissism in this country. If you're looking at what we're teaching people about God, about the ways of God, about what we think we know about God, it ain't hard to connect those dots. It's not hard to see how we got to polygamy, narcissism, domestic violence, sexual abuse. Look at what we're teaching. Look at how we're teaching it. We have to be accountable. And you don't like what I'm saying? Tell me what I'm saying is wrong, that you haven't heard this stuff in church. If you've been in church any length of time, you have heard this stuff. We have taught this stuff to people, and we're not taking accountability for what we're passing on generationally. We're just accepting it as fact, when it doesn't make no fucking sense. I don't believe in talking snakes. I don't care what y'all said that snake said to that lady. I don't care what y'all said that snake said to that lady. I don't believe it. To talk about you don't have faith. I don't got faith in bullshit. I sure don't.
I know that's
I
right.
do not. I do
Nope.
not. I'm a critical thinker. And I can't continue to pretend like what y'all saying is making sense when it don't.
And there you have it. I mean, I showed those videos just to bring awareness of, I like the way that she tells her stories. They're very entertaining. And she's right, though. She's right. Look at what we're passing down generation to generation. And if we don't do something now, I don't know what else to say, man. I'm at a point where I'm going to do my best to try to save the world. And I know it sounds ridiculous. I know it does. But at some point, I have to sit back and ask myself, if people don't want to be saved, what are we fighting for? If people are just going to continue to go along with the bullshit, with the lies, with the control and the programming and the conditioning, and they don't want to do the work within themselves, they don't want to heal those damaged parts of themselves that this world has created inside of them, I can only do so much. I can only say so much. I can only show so much. So I saw a content creator. He had said, I keep seeing a lot of videos about leave the country and go over here. And I'm like, no, we have to stay and we have to fight, because we can leave, but there's still going to be people suffering. At the end of the day, if you want to keep suffering and you don't want to do the changes within yourself to make this earth a better place for every single person to live on it, like, I'm not going to continue to stress myself out and keep pushing and keep fighting for you when you won't even fight for yourself. So I get what he's saying. He's like, if it don't change, like, yeah, going to another country for my children to have a better life. I agree with him. I agree. If you are not going to change, if you are not going to do the uncomfortable, shitty ass part of healing yourself, because it's uncomfortable, it sucks. You will spend a lot of days crying by yourself. You will break down in the shower, just crying. Listen, I've done a lot of healing. And even recently, I have found myself just breaking down on the floor, crying so bad in my pillow because I'm still healing. At some point, I have to ask myself, if the people, and I mean we as a whole, aren't going to do the work that needs to be done inside of yourself to heal yourself, to help the world be a better place, I'm not going to keep allowing my cup to get empty because you can't pour into yourself. I can't do it. If you want to see a change, you got to be the change you want to see. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the way they treat us. I'm tired of the way they have us so divided. But at the end of the day, it's about unity. It's about looking past the color of a person's skin and just loving them. Just loving them. Who cares what color your skin is, man? It's about your heart. It's about what's inside. It's about how you treat yourself, how you treat other people. That's what it's about. It's not about, I'm a Browns fan and you're a Steelers fan, and it's not about, you're right and I'm wrong. It's not about, I voted for this person and you voted for that person, which I've never voted a day in my life, by the way. But it's not about that. And if the people can't see that, if the people can't look past our differences to make it a better place, not only for you, but for me, for us, what are we fighting for? It's time, man. And what I just said isn't true. I'm just kidding. I'm just thinking of a book I'm writing. Thank you for tuning in to Lady Boss Energy, where we uplift, motivate, and inspire each other to get shit together. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you know somebody who you think would enjoy watching this, or you think needs to see this, share it with them. I hope you have an amazing 24 and the best 7 yet. And I pray the divine radiates love and kindness and compassion and abundance and peace and joy and all the things over your life today, tomorrow, and forever. Till I see you on the next one. I love you.